Listeners. This is Brent with Otillo Swim Run Orcas Island. We are excited to have you join us for the 2024 edition of this race on Sunday, September 15th. We've made some significant changes to the course, and so I wanted to send a video that can highlight some of those course changes and what it means for you. First off, I want to thank our partners, Vivo Barefoot, ARC, Dry Robe, Precision Fuel and Hydration, and our local partners, San Juan Outfitters and San Juan Safaris. Also want to take a moment to thank all of those volunteers. These folks are taking time out of their busy schedules to help keep you safe, keep you fueled, and keep you going in the right direction. So be sure to thank all those volunteers as you're out there on the course. If you know anyone that wants to help, send them our way and we can put them to work on race day. The course is an open course, so there will be other trail users out there throughout the day, as well as vehicles on roads. So you need to do good heads-up racing, be kind and respectful to other trail users out there. If you're coming up behind somebody, give them a good heads up. Typically when they see you coming in a wetsuit running through the woods, they usually get out of your way pretty quick. But just be respectful out there. You may see a couple horses for people in the World Series distance and maybe a couple bikers. There also might be some people fishing in various spots on the lakes, and you might see some paddlers out there. So just be kind to other trail users, be friendly, and we'll all have a great day. Gear-wise, mandatory equipment, swim cap, bib, collapsible cup will all be provided by us. Make sure you have a wetsuit, whistle, shoes, goggles, tether for a team. You don't have to use it the whole time, but you're required to have it. And then solo racers will have their rest tube. We do recommend a pool buoy, water flask, and extra nutrition, particularly for the World Series distance, because there'll be some long chunks without aid station. Getting out to the race, head to Rosario Village. You'll land over here at Orcas Village, drive the Horseshoe Highway around through East Sound, climb up the hill. Just before you get to Moran State Park, you'll see a right-hand turn for Rosario Road. You head down Rosario Road, and at the bottom of the road, it's a left-hand turn. Will bring you over here to this highlighted area, which is the beach house, which is where packet pickup will be on Saturday. Race start and finish is over in this area. There's very limited parking in this area. So for those that are staying at Rosario Village, please just stay at your park at your hotel. For those that aren't, there's extra parking over here on the south side of the marina. There's also some parking up in this square here, and then it's just a short walk over to the start-finish area. Registration will be, and packet pickup is Saturday the 14th, 1 o'clock to 2 for the sprint and expedition or experience distances, 2 to 3 for the World Series, and then anybody can kind of come in that 3 to 4 hour. So come get checked in, receive your timing chip, bib, swim cap, collapsible cup, good vibes, t-shirts, all the fun stuff. Okay, course changes and why we did them. There is a milfoil problem in Cascade Lake. Cascade Lake's the lowest of the couple lakes. Milfoil is a invasive seaweed that comes from kind of Europe, Asia areas. And there is milfoil in Cascade Lake, but there's none in Mountain Lake, and we want to keep it that way. And any little particulates like you see on this person's foot could easily spread to a different body of water. Milfoil won't hurt you at all. We just don't want to spread it. So if you do have any on you, make sure you take that off, particularly after the race. And then, it can get stuck on shoes and paddles and pool buoys and all that kind of fun stuff. So just make sure you discard it into the garbage. Or if you do put it, if you're just out there, just make sure it's not into water where you discard it. So how did we fix the problem and ensure that we do not spread milfoil? We have adjusted the course so that you bypass Cascade Lake initially and only swim in Cascade Lake as our very last body of water. And then also, we'll remind you again at the finish, but make sure you clean off any milfoil that might be on you after swimming in Cascade Lake. Quick review of course markings. We'll have arrows. Most of what you'll see is these pin flags. You will also have some of these big inflatable buoys for the longer swims. And then most of the swims will be marked by the Otillo feather banners that are kind of a bright orange color. So look for those out there. Most of the arrows are going to look like the ones down here in the lower right where they're Otillo branded. All right, so the experience course is about almost 6 miles of running and just shy of a mile of swimming with 3 swim sections, and we'll go more into those, more in depth into those in just a moment. The sprint distance is 12.2 miles of running and just shy of 2 miles of swimming with 6 swimming sections. And the World Series distance is 21 miles of running, 3.5 miles of swimming, and 12 swimming sections. It's a doozy. All right, so let's take a look at what we got. So we'll start real quick with the experience course because this is the one that's the shortest and quickest to describe. Sections of the course are shared by all the races, and so I will highlight all of those right now so that you can kind of see what's shared, and we'll spin through that pretty quick when we get there. So for the start finish for all races share run 1, swim 1. So we start running through kind of along the marina, cut up the hill, do the climb up Rosario Road, taking a right on Ocean Mist, looping around through the resort, coming back and doing our first swim there in Cascade Bay. That's the cold one. It's a short one though, so it's only about 250 yards long. Once you pop out of that, run 2 starts the same for everybody. As you head, kind of loop back around towards the start-finish area, cutting across a little bridge, and then you head up the hill. In the past, when we got up the hill to Cascade Lake, we would take a left and head over towards Cascade Lake and do a swim here in Rosario Lagoon. All the races now will take a right-hand turn, staying on the south side of Cascade Lake, going along the Cascade Loop Trail, coming through South End Campground, looping around kind of this eastern edge of the trail, crossing Olga Road. Again, all the races will start this way. This is where the split occurs. After you cross Olga Road, this is a major road, so please look both ways before you cross. After you cross that road, there's an intersection. The experience course, and then the other 2 distances at the end of the race, will take a left and continue on Cascade Lake Loop. The sprint and World Series will take a right. So there will be arrows here that say experience left, sprint, and World Series right. So the experience is going to take that left, run over to the Cascade picnic area beach. They will get in the water at this point. There's an aid station right here, and you do cross Olga Road again, so be sure to look both ways as you cross the street. This swim 2 for you, works out to be about 630 yards, and this is a slightly different swim than the other 2 races. So you're going to swim across. There's going to be a buoy here, real close to the bridge, and you're going to get out just before the bridge, to the right of the buoy. At that point, you will hop out, run the Lake Loop Trail around, come over here to the cliff jump. If you don't want to do the cliff, you can sneak down to the right-hand side of it, and you'll swim back over to the Cascade picnic and beach area. From there, your final run, and the way everyone will finish, is with this swim right here, swim 3 for the experience, which is about 550 yards. You'll get out of the water, hit the aid station if you need it, take a left going along the north side of Cascade Lake. You can see in this area here, it comes very close to crossing over with right by the cliff jump, but there are separate trails there, so you do not cross over. You'll continue along, popping out by the dam here at Rosario Lagoon and Cascade Lake, and then you'll shoot downhill through the resort, coming into the finish at Rosario Village. So that's the experience. Jumping to the sprint, again, the start of the sprint is the same. So run 1, let me cut this guy out, loop through Rosario, swim in Cascade Bay, and then we head up the hill. So again, run along the south side of Cascade Lake, through South End Campground, crossing over, and again, this is that intersection where the experience goes left, World Series and sprint take a right. So the sprint's going to continue up the hill. Run 2 for you with the reset is a longer run, so it's 4.7 miles that you will be running, and you gain about 1,100 vertical feet. So come along the trail, crossing the Mount Constitution Road at the Cascade Falls picnic area, or trailhead, sorry. You'll continue along on the road. Here's aid station 1. If you need anything, you can grab it. From here, continue up the dirt road until the Cascade Creek trailhead cuts off to the left. This will be well signed. You'll cross the bridge, run up Cascade Creek Trail. Just below the Mountain Lake Dam, you'll cross another bridge running along the mountain. Now you're on Mountain Lake Loop Trail. And this is where the World Series and the experience or the sprint distances will split. And so the World Series will actually get in the water here. The sprint stays along the shoreline, running over through the aid station, which is at Mountain Lake Landing. You're going to continue briefly on a paved road before hopping on the trail just past the boat launch. And it's about a quarter mile down this trail. You've got a short, about 50-meter swim. So there'll be arrows pointing to the right. Short 50-meter swim, those are going to say sprint, across to this little island. You're going to run the distance of that island from north to south. And then you are going to head across Mountain Lake to the far eastern shore. There'll be a buoy here that is your guide. So you'll swim to that buoy, get out, take a right once you get there, and you'll head back south. Now you do cross over the trail that the same trail that people are coming up. So you'll head down this trail along Cascade Creek. You'll come out and you'll hit the Mount Pickett Road, so a little bit of distance on a logging road, and then you'll hit the aid station again. So this will be aid station 3 for you. And at that aid station, you'll take a left-hand turn down onto the single track. And this is the Cascade Creek Trail again. Goes along through the waterfalls. You'll cross under Cascade Falls, coming to Olga Road. Again, beware of traffic, right by a very cool bridge. You'll go across the bridge, cutting back immediately to the left as soon as you get off the bridge. And as you can see, you're going to come back down near the South End Campground. And this spot you double back on briefly. So initially on run 2, you came this way. Now on run 4, and run 4 works out to be about 3.3 miles. You're going to go the opposite direction on that Cascade Loop Trail, coming to this rocky outcrop. Now that we're at the rocky outcrop, we're going to swim over to the Rowing Association dock and buildings. So there's a dock that comes out right here. Once you get out of the water, you'll climb up, and this is a section that you've already run on, this little quarter-mile section. At the top of the climb, before you and the World Series distance went right, now you're going to go on the experience distance. You'll take the left, continuing on Cascade Lake Loop. That'll bring you down to Cascade Beach to another aid station. This is aid station 4 or 5 for the sprint distance. From here, you're going to do a slightly different swim than the experience does. Yours is longer. This is your longest swim of the day. It's about 1,000 yards. So you're going to swim over towards the same buoy, but instead of getting out at the buoy, you're going to go on the far side of it, swim under the bridge, through Rosario Lagoon, and get out at a rocky exit here. You'll get out, take a right, come back around the lake, go to the cliff jump, off the cliff jump, back to the aid station and the Cascade picnic area, and then looping around the north end of the lake, run back down to Rosario to the finish. All right, World Series distance. This one's the doozy, and this is the one that has probably it has the most changes on it. So let's take a look here. All right, so same start as the other 2 distances. Loop through here at Rosario, into Cascade Bay, get out of said cold water, climb up through the resort, up the steep trail, along the south side of Cascade Lake, coming up, crossing Olga Road, and again, look both ways. Intersection here, experience will go left, World Series and sprint go right. Climbing up, crossing Mount Constitution Road at the Cascade Falls Trailhead, hop onto the Mount Pickett Road, go through aid station 1. Aid station 1 is going to be very important for you to fuel up. Now, run 2 for the World Series distance is a little bit shorter than for the sprint distance, but it's still almost 4 miles long. But the big thing is there's a lot that happens between aid station 1 and aid station 2, because you're going to come up Cascade Creek Trail, and then you're going to have a series of swims. There's not a lot of running, but there's a lot of swimming between aid station 1 and aid station 2. So be sure to fuel up and hydrate at aid station 1. From here, you do a long swim, about 900 yards, that comes from the south end of the lake up to the little island. You go in the opposite direction of the sprint distance. There will be a buoy here marking your exit. Across the island, short little 50-yard swim to swim across back to the Mountain Lake Loop Trail. Historically, you take a left there. Now we're going to take a right, and we're going to run. And these are some of, in the past, the swims that have been the latest in the race. But now they're going to be some of your earlier swims. So swim 4 from the rope swing across, short swim run around the north end of the lake. Then we're going to swim back to this little island, across the island, and then back to the Mountain Lake Loop Trail. There's a climb here before descent, and you're going to come down here to swim 7. Now, swim 7, there's going to be a lot going on. There's a buoy that's going to be there. That's for the sprint distance to exit. When you get in the water, it's actually hard to see the buoy where you need to get to exit over at Mountain Lake Landing. So you kind of have to come out and around the point, and then you'll spot the buoy. The buoy here at the end of swim 2, depending on how quickly you go through this, may still be there, because we are not going to pull that buoy until everyone's done with swim 2. And so that buoy can be a bit deceiving. So we'll have a safety boater here to help direct you. And also, you are crossing the swim 2 folks. So as you're coming through here, we'll have safety boaters out there to help with traffic control. But keep an eye out for other people as you're coming across here. Once you get across swim 7, you'll get out on the dock, hit the aid station, and fuel up well for here, because now you've got your big climb up Mount Constitution. Now this next leg all the way up Constitution and back down the other side is almost 4.5 miles until your next swim. There is an aid station in the middle of that up on top of Constitution, but it's a big climb all the way up to the summit of Constitution. This leg gains about 1,600 vertical feet. At the top, at the towers, is where the aid station will be, so you can get water and fuel and anything else you need. If the weather is not great, we may move this aid station down below, but the plan and the weather looks decent enough to be up at the top right now. From there, take the loop through the parking lot and then catch the trail down to Twin Lakes on the backside. This is that long, steep, just kind of relentless descent that gets you back down to Twin Lakes. Now at Twin Lakes, we have changed things compared to the past. So historically, we have done this first swim in Twin Lakes the opposite direction. But we changed things up for this year, so you're going to come in and you're going to enter at the east end of the first Twin Lake, and you're going to swim kind of in a northwesterly direction. So you'll hop in the water, swim to the northwest. You're going to use another section of trail here that we have not used historically. Very cool kind of technical section of trail that loops around the north side of the bigger of the two Twin Lakes. Come back through, stay to the north, get into the smaller of the two Twin Lakes. This is the one where there's often like some salamanders in there. Super fun. They won't bug you. They swim away, but they're fun to see. Now that brings us to a run 10. Because of the revamp and doing all the swims in Mountain Lake on our way up rather than on the way back historically, run 10 is a very long run. It's 6.25 miles long. There are 2 different aid stations on that run, but it is a very long run. Because once you leave the Twin Lakes, you have to climb back up, or you have climbed back to the top of Mount Pickett, where aid station 4 will be. Then you're going to cut down the eastern shore of You're going to cut down on the Boundary Trail. Running along the Boundary Trail, you'll see one intersection. Hopefully this will catch up soon. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so you'll run along. There'll be one intersection that you go straight through, and that's a trail that cuts up hard and to the right and goes like straight uphill. The next intersection you come through is where you really want to make this right-hand turn. This trail here that cuts across, kind of traversing here, is called the mystery trail. If you miss that turn and go down here, this brings you into the pit of despair, which is not where you want to go, because the only way out of there is 2 very steep trails. So this will be well signed, but you want to make that right-hand turn onto the mystery trail, and it actually does go uphill slightly before kind of rolling along with some downhills, some uphills, until you hit the Mount Pickett access road, which again is like a logging road. Run down the logging road briefly, taking a hard right here, and this is again kind of a logging road that goes back to Mountain Lake. Now we're going to continue downhill. We're going to backtrack on the Cascade Creek Trail section, and let's run 2, so we'll get that out of the way. There we go. So we'll run down the Cascade Creek Trail, hitting aid station 5. At aid station 5, you cut onto the single track off the road, staying along the trail, coming down, looping through below the falls, cutting across the road on the Cool Bridge, going along the backside, short, steep little climb here, always fun. When we come back down to the lake, we'll take a left, and we're going to run the Cascade Lake Loop Trail in the opposite direction we did before, so that we can hit our next swims. So we're going to hit the rowing swim. So we'll come back to the Camp Moran dock and beach area here. From there, we'll take the left, cross the road, and this is the exact same as the sprint distance. So we'll run along, come to Cascade picnic area, aid station here. This is your long swim over 1,000 yards, coming around the buoy and under the bridge into Rosario Lagoon. Short run 12 to the cliff jump, back to the Cascade beach picnic area, and then the run back down to Rosario, the finish, and the Pizza Rocks crew ready to show you all the good times. So that's what we got for you. We're really excited to have you join us. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be around on Packet Pickup to answer any questions as well. Thank you again, and we'll see you at Otillo, Orcas Island.